Hi, welcome to Battle Arena TV. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a great show for you tonight. But first, I just want to know, how have you been getting on during lockdown, Chris?
Oh, it's been a bit difficult. I've been trying to get a lot of exercise going, but as you know, it's very difficult because gyms are closed, can't do martial arts, everything's non-contact. So I'm at home and I'm trying to do burpees and press-ups and sit-ups. But when you've got 4 little kids running around, have you tried laying on the floor to do sit-ups when you have 4 children in your house? They just assume you're a trampoline and dive straight on top of you.
Well, at least you're taking some impact shots there. I only got 3, but they're all very heavy. Just walk them up and down stairs. It's a really good workout.
Well, what I'm most excited about, Steve, is the action that we have on tonight's show. And I know we're going to have a little trailer for it now.
Ooh, those are some tasty fights coming up. And the first one is going to be Jordan Zebo versus Milhal Bernaso. Say that 5 times fast. But what we've got is a welterweight tilt, and this is one of my favorite divisions. It was actually the division that I fought in first because I was a bit heavy coming out of university, really. But it's the most action-packed category that I've ever seen. And obviously being Canadian myself, the king, the reigning king, the man for all ages, George St. Pierre, GSP as we call him, was at the top for so long, and he really set the standard for what it is to be a welterweight. You are heavy enough to hit hard, you're fast and have enough finesse to move and enact every single type of technique, and we know that Jordan Zebo and Milhal Bernaso had an awesome tilt back in 2020.
Yeah, like you say, Steve, it was the most stacked division in the UFC forever. It seems to have gone to lightweight now, but maybe that's because fighters are just cutting that much more weight. Everyone's cutting a few more extra pounds, so the talent level has now gone down to that weight division. But yeah, most of the history of the UFC, the welterweight division was always the most stacked with Matt Hughes and George St. Pierre. The thing I want to see in this fight, most excitingly for me, we're going into it, was Jordan Zebo's physique is insane. The guy is built for war, muscles on muscles. And the problem can be with that, you're going to be so strong, you're going to be so athletic, but do you get tired, right? All those muscles require energy. If you're a fast twitch guy, there's a reason marathon runners don't look like bodybuilders, right? It's hard to be efficient and keep going for a long period of time.
It's an excellent point. And if you are used to being the bully in the gym, the absolute gorilla, the person that just pulls people apart, are you getting the right amount of competition in the gym for what you're going to see in the cage? Somebody that's able to weather your storm and be able to come back at you constantly. And we know that Milhal Bernaso comes from a really excellent gym at BST, and he was ready for this fight.
Well, Steve, you sold it to me. Let's go check out this fight.
Touch gloves. Jordan Zebo using that speed very quickly. He comes up with a high kick, but the wrestling usually is all the difference for the BST fighters. Stands up very strong as Bernaso. It's quickly tripped right back down by Bernaso. Zebo might be a little bit out of his depth here on the ground. There's some real great grappling there at BST.
Yeah, he seems to have 2 Roger Gracie black belts in his corner, Steve. That's quite a lot of grappling experience.
Almost unfair.
Yeah. And he's absolutely fantastic control on top. Positioning well, using the cage, not letting that leg get caught. This is what we've seen from BST. I think BST this weekend, they've got fighters on Cage Warriors, they've got fighters here, they have another fighter on another show somewhere else. I mean, there's such a fantastic academy. Look at that Milhal Bernaso, take it, like literally chatting to his corner man, getting advice on what to do in this position. He's a little bit vulnerable here, actually, because maybe Jordan Zebo could sneak out the back if he can get his head free.
He's just quite strong as Zebo, I think. I think it's just, he's a bit, doesn't seem to be terribly experienced on the ground, so he's doing things that you just don't see very often. He's giving you different looks.
Yeah, he needs to throw his right leg over, Steve, and try and get out.
Right up now, right up.
Use that whistle well, got up.
Zebo should be looking for leg kicks. Bernaso might be. Oh, another left hand.
Oh, ducked under the kick and got the takedown.
Seen a few good looks from Zebo here in guard. Oh, he's back to full guard now. Zebo's climbing up. Using those legs to try to get some.
Oh, trying to throw up a triangle. Doesn't get it, it's high risk. He can get his guard past. Milhal with the pass. Excellent pass. Look at that, was beautiful, Steve.
Just walked right around it. Now he's on top.
Oh, Zibo did a good job of trapping that half guard. Sometimes half guard's not a great position for MMA. Close guard is much better because you can push off with your feet when you need to. You can throw submissions of it. Half guard, you're often trapping yourself on the floor.
Yeah, you can maintain distance from full guard, can't you?
Yeah.
Millhouse
Millhouse
effectively here. Millhouse
punishing him. Almost looked like he was going for a kind of leg attack. Hasn't got it. I was trying to deep half. Some advanced jiu-jitsu. Oh, Millhouse just stepped out. Good counter.
He's got to push the head down if he wants to get out of here. He's keeps trying to go for this weird ninja choke, but it's not going to work.
It's a very high-risk strategy, Steve, because if you don't get it, you're not defending the takedown.
He sat right back down.
Half is good. Sometimes locking. It's got the lockdown, but if I was Millhouse, I would just take that and look for ground and pound. That's exactly what he's doing. It's so hard to. The lockdown, so what we're talking about, sorry, Steve, is Zebu is using his legs to lock off and trap the left leg of Millhouse, but he's also trapping himself to Millhouse. And in an MMA, in a jiu-jitsu match, that's quite a good thing to do. You can set up a lot of submissions and escapes, but in an MMA fight, you're trapping yourself on the bottom. It's not necessarily the right thing to do.
Yeah, and Zebu just doesn't have the answer. He's not extending his legs out here and there.
Oh, they go for a banana split, and if he got it, that would be pretty amazing, Steve. I don't think we've had one on Battling before. They lost the position and is eating big ground and pound, trying to get that banana split.
I think we've got there's some big shots landing from Millhouse.
I think
almost got Zebu out of it.
It was the wrong thing to do, Steve. We've got to work on basics. I think Zebo's really struggling here, Steve.
He is just kind of defending.
Oh, now he's at another big right.
Huge right hands
I think
landed.
they're both a little bit out on their feet. Millhouse struggled from recovering from round one.
Whoa.
Zebu sent an email telling him that was coming and kicks over the top. Millhouse fitted, gets
This is
the ground
excellent.
pound.
Back and forth, back and forth. That kick, incredible, came right through the guard. A lot of power.
Finish strong though, because if it's 10-9, it could end up being a draw this fight. And he's got to pull something out here.
He was sending knees into the thighs. Not terribly effective there.
I think
Needs to break away.
He was rocked by that hammer fist from trying to get the banana split.
Really is amazing that they're both still in this. Look for that left high kick again.
That was a laboured spinning hook kick. Oh, Millhouse has got the timing of those kicks now. I mean, Zebu just telegraphs it from space, but
Yep, pretty much. Send it from left field there. So only a few seconds left this round. Let's see if you gotta feel like you've got to finish it. Both guys gotta feel like they've got to finish it right now. And Millhouse on top, and he's got all the tools to do it.
Zebu's trying to get back to his feet. Will anyone put a little point on the end of this round? Time. Whoa. What a fight.
Back and forth the whole time.
And it's a unanimous decision for the fighter in the blue corner.
What an incredible fight that was, to weather that first round and then come back and get the decision victory at the end. What an amazing achievement that was for Millhouse. And kudos to Jordan for trying to pull it away and come out so strong in the beginning.
Yeah, Jordan Zebu definitely had convinced himself that he won. We saw him with his arms raised while he was waiting for the decision, but in the end, it's Millhouse Burnasow's night. And as we know, physiques don't win fights. It's all about technique, folks.
Lucky for us.
Lucky for us, indeed. The thing that really set Burnasow apart was that he was able to weather. There was a good rear naked choke attempt there by Zebu in the first, but we knew that Millhouse was turning out of it, so he wasn't able to get the angle. And then he was just able to use his superior wrestling in the second and third rounds to win those rounds and get the decision. And this is a bit of a difference here between BST up in Northampton. Really great team there. They've got such a wide range of disciplines and experts in all areas of MMA, especially their wrestling team. Mm-hmm. Does France really have that?
Yeah, I mean, France has been famous for Savat, which is like weird, like pajama kickboxing. I have to agree with Steve on this one. It's a nice martial art, but yeah, like you say, I think they've always had a pretty good judo and karate team, but they're not as evolved, and that's because MMA's been illegal in France for so long, so the sport hasn't been able to develop like it has in other areas of Europe. But I think that fight was a good it's a good lesson for Jordan Zebao on pacing himself, right? He could have won that fight if he just chose his shots a little bit better in the first round and paced himself that little bit more. You have to choose. You're like, am I going to blow my gas tank trying to put this guy away, or am I going to keep something back? And sometimes it can be the wrong thing to not finish the fight, and then you go on to lose a fight that you would have won. But most of the time, you want to pull that back a little bit. You only want to put 70% in all your shots, and then you're going to be a lot more efficient. And it's something I struggle with as a coach, telling my fighters, it's like, you can't go 100% on everything. You get mount on someone, you can't just punch yourself out trying to finish the guy, because the weight transfer means they can escape, and also you're going to get very, very tired.
And I think Zebo had a really good advantage there at the first. He was able to implement his kickboxing game. He was dominating on the feet. But then, like you said, tired himself out trying to get the finish at the end of the first. And when he comes back in the second, he's not the same fighter. It's almost as though he's completely hollowed himself out. And really, while he is very muscular and physically strong, maybe there are a couple of tips that we could have given him about overall conditioning that we might be able to mention a little bit later on in the program. Some tips for making sure that you're a all-around physical specimen, a conditioning giant, as it were, as I know you are, Chris.
I think we're club dad bod, but we'll take that. We have loads more action coming up in the show. We're going to go to a little break now.
Welcome back to Battle Arena TV. We've promised you tons of action. Let's take a look at what's coming up. Those Mayhem girls are always having the most fun. I hope they let us out of here soon, Chris. But what we've got on the cards next is our second fight of the evening. Jack Banks versus Benjamin Dahishi. Benjamin Dahishi representing Frontline Academy. Jack Banks representing, and it's a mouthful, Kyokushinkai.
Kyokushinkai. I think that is a traditional type of karate where you would do full contact, but you couldn't hit each other in the head with punches. So they punch each other as hard as they could in the body and then swing big full contact head kicks at the same time. But because you couldn't punch in the head, they always stood right in the pocket. And I think it was George St. Pierre's original martial arts style as well.
Oh, so he's definitely got a good endorsement there, does Jack Banks. But Benjamin Dahishi, Frontline Academy, you know, world champions coming from there, UFC fighters coming all the way from Norway, and they never come to do anything else other than invade Viking style. So Kyokushinkai, Frontline Academy, a really excellent tilt, and we know that Jack Banks really likes to stand in the fire and fire away. It's going to be an awesome fight. Let's take a look.
With that long jab. Interestingly, Dahishi comes out in the southpaw stance, so it'll be who can own the outside foot. Dahishi does it quickly there. It's just familiarity. Southpaws are always a bit more familiar with dealing with orthodox than we are with them. Banco is very lean and long for the flyweight division. He's got to look to use that range. Dahishi's very, very confident. Good head movement early on. Banco runs onto a punch. Counter left. Dahishi momentarily, Banco switches into southpaw, maybe looking to land some lefts of his own. Maybe close down his open side.
Jack Banks looking for that lead left hook, shoots in for a double, now single.
Yeah, both of them were throwing shots at nothing, and now we've got Banco on the legs, looking for a takedown against a frontline fighter. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Well, the frontline fighter has come out in a pair of frontline Thai boxing shorts, so maybe the game of get this fight to the floor. And the Kyokushinkai guys have got so well-rounded, they can fight anywhere. He's got the legs Kirby in his corner. Trying to get left hook on the break, but it was a bit laboured.
A bit late too. Oh, goes to the body, nice.
Oh, landed a nice inside leg kick, and again.
As they start landing, everything Dahishi throws is very, very painful. We're seeing it on the face right now. Banco's chasing a bit.
Apart from one thing we see with these lighter weight divisions is kind of non-stop frenetic pace.
Pace and speed. Don't see a lot of finishes sometimes, but other times you do. Kicks it right back. Oh, that's it. Doubling up on the back leg too. Dehishi's definitely found his range early. 2 left hands land there. Dehishi backs him into the cage there. He's just working.
Yeah, did the same thing pretty much 3 times in a row, but it's working. Jumping front kick.
And the leg right now, Banco is just looking horrible. It's getting chewed up quickly. There you go. See it again.
Well, we were telegraphing that a little bit. Nice double jab.
Watch the counter of Dehishi, because he does really well just to step onto the outside and hit that counter left. But he's more than happy. He just chopped the legs down right now. He's not even looking for that double leg that he almost had on the entry there.
Jack Banks is looking a bit desperate there, just running forward, losing his stance, trying to get something. Dehishi with a jumping front kick to the groin.
I don't know.
I think it pretty much landed in the spot, but Dehishi doesn't think it did.
A little bit frustrated. Like, looking at the leg of Banco, you cannot fault him for wanting a couple moments.
Yeah, that is a red leg. But also, I think it was close enough. It didn't seem like play acting from Jack Banks. It is Banks, not Banco.
I was going with Banco.
Banco sounds cooler than Banks. Banks is pretty.
I'm just going to call him Banco.
Mary Poppins.
Come on, Jack Banks. I should have known it was Banks. I'm sure I've seen him fighting here before. Boom, there's that left counter. That was what I was talking about.
I think that's why Dehishi didn't want to stop for the groin strike, because he's got his timing down now.
I'm seeing everybody.
Could we see our first ever front kick KO in Battle Arena history?
Could do. He's doing so well kicking to those legs, though. I think he wants a leg kick TKO.
We haven't had too many of those either.
Nope. Jack Banks is doing so well to stay in the game. And that adrenaline, he's going to have some sore legs later, but whether he can eke out the victory today, that's what he really wants. Can he flip the script? Start using this grapple exchange.
It is absolutely rammed here at Edgbaston Stadium in Birmingham. What a night of action we have had. And we still have our main card coming up.
Oh, no, he's on the back now. There's just
trying to get
very slick. I think Banks does well to come out on top. There's into a triangle here.
Oh, the cage is making it difficult to get the angle, but it looks pretty tight to me.
He's tight. He's pulling on the head now. Very tight position. He's looking to strike his way out.
He needs to get more angle to make this tight, and the cage is killing it.
Pull the head as well.
Slowly inching tighter and tighter and tighter.
Trying to strike out as Jack Banks.
Because
do we have enough time?
Yeah, because Banks' right arm is out in that position with his elbow sticking out.
Oh, he's got the tap. Very tight, very tight.
Triangle choke.
Very good work from Darius.
Round 2.
Woo. Oh, he's talking to the crowd.
All right, I'm here with your winner, flyweight standout, Benjamin Dehishi. Benjamin, it looked like you were just chewing him up with leg kicks. Then you got the opportunity to get the triangle choke and you finished it. What I'm really interested in, what were you saying to the camera there right in that moment of victory?
Brother, I have half of my friends right now, over 30 of them, from the same spot since I was like a child. They are everybody watching the fight now. This is for them, and I have family in Australia. They are up in the whole night today to win. It was a lot of energy going into this fight. 2 years ago, my best friend died, and this is the month he died, man. It was a lot of emotions for me, man. And it's hard to talk about it, you know. But it was for all of the people that's come close to me, man.
Well, you've definitely done him right today, that's for sure. You did really, really well, and I think you'll take this forward. Anything else for the fans at home? When are we going to see Benjamin Dehishi next?
I know the friend of this guy. He have the European Championship belt for the flyweights. I want to fight him. I want to fight his partner. He have the belt. I want it.
Benjamin Dehishi wants the belt. Let's give it to him. Frontline fighter and flyweight standout Benjamin Dehishi. This is for you.
What an incredible fight that was. Some absolutely fantastic action. But there's a slightly controversial moment in there. Was it round 2, Steve, with the groin shot?
Yes, there was a groin shot in round 2, but can we just back up a little bit? Because what I would like to do is I want to talk about how this is a story of stances. What we have is Benjamin Dahishi, and he's standing in the southpaw stance. That's with his right leg forward and his right hand forward. And he makes a great story, or a great case for landing those overhand lefts. We had Jack Banks looking so rangy in the first round. He was throwing those big looping kicks, but every time Dahishi was stepping in with overhand lefts and really bothering Jack Banks. But then obviously we can flash forward to the second round, and probably something I love to talk about, because groin shots can completely change the entire geography of a fight. It can be going one way, and as we know as men, as soon as you get hit down there, it's going to take a lot out of you. And you really want to get back into that fight. You want to make sure that you're not seeming too hurt, but you're given an extended period of time to recover from a groin shot for a particular reason, aren't you, Chris?
Yeah, and sometimes there's a problem with that, because if I go into a fight with someone, and maybe I'm the fitter guy, so part of my strategy is to make the other guy work, make him tired, and then that can mean that I win in the last round. I can put the pressure on him. But if there's an accidental groin shot in there somewhere, he's going to get a long rest, and it's going to really change the pace of the fight, and that's even without long-term damage. So it really, really can affect the course of the fight, and it's a very hard job for referees to decide when they should stop the fight, you know, how much of a difference it has made. And as fighters, we always want to carry on. We always want to power through. We never want to have to go back to the changing room because of an accidental or an illegal strike.
Mm-hmm. And what we saw was a complete change in Jack Banks's overall demeanor in this fight. After he got that groin shot at the beginning of the second, you know, Dahishi was kind of saying that it wasn't a shot. There was a bit of a controversy. It was it was increasing a bit of bad blood there. And I felt like Jack Banks felt like he really needed to get in there. And that's where he rushed in for the takedown, takes Dahishi down, sits there for a moment up against the fence, probably feels like he has Dahishi in a pretty secure position. But as we said, Frontline's a great gym, BJJ world champions. Let's go to that finish, Chris. What was it, and how did it happen, and why was it such a great triangle finish?
It was a great try. Like I say, it's a triangle choke. So it's called a triangle choke because your legs, they make a triangle shape around the person's neck. So what you're relying on is they've got one arm between your legs and one arm outside of your legs. And then if you're going to lock up that triangle shape of your legs, you can put pressure on both sides of their neck, locking off those arteries to the brain, stops the blood going to your brain, and then you've got to tap out or pass out, the kind of classic thing. And it's such a good thing to be able to do off your back. So often people assume the guy on the top must be winning. No, no, no. If you're the level of Benjamin Dahishi with those grappling exchanges, you're dangerous everywhere. And all you need is a split second to lock up that triangle, and then it's trouble and the fight's over.
And as we know on the ground, everything is about angles. Well, everything's about angles all over in fights. And Dahishi does something really excellent that you can try to replicate at home or on the mat when we all get back to training. He underhooks the leg, gets the angle, cuts off the blood supply, and Jack Banks has no choice but to tap out. An overall excellent performance from Dahishi. Maybe a bit unfair for Jack Banks with that groin shot, but I know he'll live to fight another day.
And we'll be back with more fights after this short break.
Welcome back to Battle Arena TV. We're going to be checking in on the Mayhem girls in a little bit. But earlier on, we were talking about exercising and how difficult it has been during the lockdown to really enjoy your workout. There's only so much running, so many burpees, so much anything that you can do in this kind of a climate. And you've got to spice it up a bit. But there are really a few different areas that you should be addressing in your exercise and your strength and conditioning regimes. What are those, Chris?
Well, you want to stay fit. It's really important that you stay fit, especially if anyone watching this trains martial arts. If you suddenly jump back into training, you're going to be so keen, you're going to get hurt straight away because you're not conditioned to it. So the fitter you can train, if you can do some strength work, you can do some cardio and some anaerobics, so you're really pushing, not just slow jogs, because that's not what we do in these combat sports, right? We need to like push into that threshold where we're getting a little bit of lactic acid buildup. And the way I've been doing this is by doing YouTube dance videos. So I join in with my kids, we dance along, I get really, really tired, and that's my workout.
That's an interesting workout. Mm-hmm. I've definitely been doing some of my own at home, and we're going to have a few videos in a moment. But what about you at home? Send in some of your videos on our Instagram or on our Twitter. Get on our social media. Give us some ideas, because maybe we'll be trying them out in later shows. But we're going to get to our own videos in a few moments. Chris, I'll show you yours Well, I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
I never thought you'd say that, Steve.
Let's go to my video first. Just feels like it's been a long time. Feels like I've got some fire inside of me, and I've got to get it out. I can only think of one person, one good friend that could help me get to my goals. I need you. I need you really bad. Will you come back and train me? All right, let's go. Now, nutrition is the most important part of any athlete's arsenal, making sure to balance the old school with the new school methods. And one of the easiest ways to get protein and fats is from eggs. Some people like to cook theirs. I like to cut out the middleman. Bottoms up.
What is that?
All right, next one, right? All right, that's it. That's all he needs.
I'm just gonna
We're good?
Fireman's coming!
All right. The old training methods. Hi, I'm Steve Brinkman from Battle Arena fame. What I'm going to show you today is just a really quick breakdown of something that you can do all the time. I know family life can get really busy. To get a good workout in is to do a burpee. Now, there's many different variations, but the easiest one is just to jump up, put your hands down, shoot your legs back, bring them back up and do a jump. You do 15 of those and you'll be breathing hard. If you want to add something that's a little bit more challenging to it, you can do a press up and a tuck jump at the top. So you, again, shoot your legs back, do yourself a press up or any sort of variation that you want to do, pop back up and tuck your knees to your elbows. Do 10 of those and I guarantee you, you'll have had a great workout. I try to start my day with them every single day when I'm not throwing up eggs and things like that. Back to you guys.
Wow, Steve, you call that a workout? That's apparently your workout is my warm-up, right? You couldn't even find big children to lift in the air. You're just stuck with the little ones. In the gym, you get the big weight. Why did you take it so easy, buddy? If you want a real workout, check out my video.
So, obviously that was a little bit of fun, but on a more serious note, this is my actual training regime during lockdown. So the goal with lockdown was to be able to get a good workout in and keep the strength and flexibility that I need to be able to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and teach, and maybe fight again one day, probably not going to happen, even though it was going through lockdown. So my first move was to eat too much, but I have reduced that now. The second was, I was like, how can I get an effective workout with minimal equipment? So in my house, I have like a couple of pieces of basic equipment. So I've got a weight plate here, I've got 20k kettlebell, and I have a punch bag and my chin-up bar / belt holder, right? So I wanted to see if I can get a good workout with these. So there's a classic wrestler's exercise that we can do with a weight plate, and I actually learned this from Matt Hughes while doing a wrestling camp in America, and it's great for upper body strength. It's called a halo. So with a halo, I'm going to hold the weight plate on the side, make sure the guns look good, right? I'm going to come out, I'm going to go around my head, and then out to the front. Around my head, out to the front. So I get the full range of motion, and this is very similar to in wrestling, picking someone up and throwing them. You would do this kind of movement and extend your back. So halo's super useful with that. The other one I use with the weight plate, it's a little bit of a full body one. So I get a nice low squat to work my legs, come up and then do a press to work my upper body, and get a nice full body workout like that. My kettlebell. So when I was fighting, chin and kettlebells helped me
get ready for my fights. So nice kettlebell swing, it's good posterior chain exercise. So driving with my hips, get the kettlebell up to waist height, keeping my lower back pulled in, making sure I stay safe. The last one is obviously that's kind of strength gaining. I need cardio. So I use this little app. I'm going to show the camera now, if it's in focus, we'll see, called the Fight Timer app. And it's very simple. You can set it for Thai boxing, mixed martial arts, boxing, and it will shout combinations at you like jab, cross, hook, right? And it will even throw in some exercises.
4, 3, 1.
That's a great workout. So you got strength, you got cardio, and that's been my lockdown workout. So back to the studio.
I don't even know what you call those moves, Chris. They certainly aren't light, and they certainly aren't fit. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do in a lockdown. Now, no disrespect or anything, but I've heard that white guys can't dance.
The problem is I'm too tall, right? This is my excuse for a lot of things in my life. So I'm 6'5". If you're 6'5", even if you're good at dancing, you just look like a slightly drunk giraffe, right? Like all awkward with your movements.
You get an A for effort, though, that's for sure. It's given me a laugh, and I'm sure the people at home.
I really appreciate that, Steve. But in a more serious note, it is important that we all stay in shape during these COVID times. It helps you fight COVID better, but also we all want to come back and be able to train soon. And any sports physiologist will tell you that if you jump into a big training volume and you're not used to it, you will get injured straight away. Think about professional athletes. They train 6 days a week, twice a day, every day. They don't get hurt very often, right? Because they're used to it. All of us have just been playing and doing just dance with the kids. We're going to jump back into training and get hurt. So we do need to condition ourselves a little bit.
That's for sure. And honestly, one of the best things that you can do at home is just make sure that you sort out your diet, you're eating healthy, you're getting your 5 a day, you're getting your sleep, and every once in a while, lift up a child or two.
You know who else gets their 5 a day?
Who?
The Mayhem Girls.
Hi Chris, this week we are in Sheffield at Powers MMA. Powers MMA is home of 2 K1 kickboxing champions. It's been established for 30 years, but this centre has been around for the past 10 in the community. My sling hook out. This week I want to find out who your favourite fighters are from Sheffield and why. Get in touch using hashtag Mayhem Battle Babes or Mayhem Babes. Coming up on today's show, we have some fantastic guests lined up for you. First and foremost, the owner and founder of this family-run business here at Powers MMA, Paul Powers. He is also the head kickboxing coach with over 51 years experience and 2 K1 worldwide champions under his belt. We also have Paul Cole, owner of 5 Rings BJJ. Powers and Cole have been working together to create the next MMA champions. We have Nikolai Puragan on today, British kickboxing champion. He has also recently moved to MMA and has 3 wins already in the bag.
My name's Paul Powers, head kickboxing coach at Powers Martial Arts Centre in Sheffield. Helping Nikolai Puragan for his next fight on the Battle Arena show the 24th of July. At Powers Martial Arts Centre, we are predominantly K1 kickboxers, going into MMA for the last 2 or 3 years. We've got a fantastic fighter in Nikolai coming through on the pro side, several amateurs coming through as well, following Nikolai. As I say, we're predominantly K1, but we are enjoying the MMA, and we think we could be quite good at MMA in the future as well.
My name's Paul Cole. I'm the head grappling coach at 5 Rings Grappling Academy in Sheffield and Mansfield. Yeah, I'm a 2nd degree black belt under Mauricio Gomez, who's Roger Gracie's dad, and I get to see him regularly. I started jiu-jitsu when I was 16, and from there I got my black belt and wanted to be a beginner again. So I really think that a white belt mindset is important so that you don't ever feel like you've got everything. like you've learned everything, the ego sets in.
Hi Chris, hi Steve. In part 1 we got to learn more about Powers MMA in Sheffield. Join us for part 2 when I take part in this week's MMA Mayhem Challenge.
Thank you, ladies. We all can't wait to see what the Mayhem girls get up to later on in the show. But on the next part, we've got Will Haycox making his second appearance on Battle Arena TV against Axel Chapanda. Stick with us.
Welcome back. We have a huge fight coming up. We have Will Haycox versus Axel Chapanda. Are you excited for this one, Steve?
I'm always excited for a world title fight, Chris, and especially when it comes to two fighters who are really at the top of their game and the amateur game just before they're about to turn pro. And we've seen William Haycox win by submission, and we've seen Axel Chapanda just come out on top time and time again. They both earned their shots. We're going to see how that fight ends up going.
Wow. Before we go and see that fight, which is going to be great, so make sure you stay tuned, we have another chance to catch up with those lovely Mayhem girls now.
So for this week's challenge, I am lucky enough to have 2 people train me. We have Paul and Nikolai here today.
My name is Nikolai Progan. I am from Moldova, living in Sheffield. I'm doing K1 kickboxing, doing MMA as well. I love the gym people because it's nice. It's nice people. And just I started to do K1 kickboxing. After that, I think just I have to do something different, ground work, which one I choose MMA. Just since 2014 when I started, just still I'm training here.
Winning a few MMA matches, I won the British Open at brown belt and the English Open at brown belt, all by submissions. Fought on a few shows that I feel like I did pretty well.
Okay, so let's see how I get on. I'm not nervous.
Coaching, I've got some European champion students with the IBJJF. Nikolai has gone and won by subs, which is always good. And yeah, in jiu-jitsu, probably one of the proudest things as well is I've got a few students who have really grown through jiu-jitsu and gone on to do amazing things. So coming in and not being able to look anyone in the eye, to travelling abroad to compete by themselves and winning, which is amazing.
So obviously we've all been through some really sad times at the moment. A lot of gyms closed or all closed. So we're opening on Monday, but what we decided to do is to help people's mental health and give them a chance to get back into training, give them some confidence. We put 4 free classes on in Sheffield at Powers Martial Arts Centre. Basically kickboxing and fitness outside in the car park. Last week we had about 25 turn up, and I think this week we might have even more. It's a 4-week course just to get people back into exercise, help them with the mental health, and so hopefully give them that buzz again to get back into any gym. But we'd like them to come to Powers Martial Arts Centre in Sheffield, obviously. But to rather than just get to a gym, get feeling good again, and promote your health and mental health.
Thanks, ladies. The Mayhem girls just want to have fun, that's for sure. But now we're bringing you our final fight of the evening. William Haycox, Axel Chapanda, the world lightweight title here at Battle Arena. What can we expect, Chris?
Well, the reason this fight is exciting is Will Haycox, he's blasted through everyone, but he's only utilised a section of his skill set. Everyone, he's come in, he's shot for a takedown, and he's got a quick submission, a very effective submission. But this is an opponent in Axel Chapanda that he can't just throw on the floor and have his way with jiu-jitsu. He's going to have to mix it up, right? He's reached that level where you can't just be good at one thing, you've got to be good at everything. This is the real test for Will Haycox, and we're going to go to the fight now.
Yeah, he does everything right grappling. You know, he's a Naga champion. He's won so many MMA fights now by submission. Undefeated. Once again,
incredibly strong.
Pulls his opponent to the mat. Look if that could be tie up straight away. We've seen a lot tonight.
Oh, jeez.
Could all be over already. Ooh,
that single wrist was very strong.
Yeah.
Now he's just peppering in.
breaking that grip.
So much confidence here from Haycox.
Yeah. He knows as soon as it hits the floor, this is his world. He's so good here. He looked good on the feet as well. Axel trying to get back to his feet, listening to his corner, doing the right thing. But Haycox on top of you is just... It's that wet blanket thing we talked about earlier, Steve. It's just so smothering.
Yeah, his toes are always poised to put more pressure on you.
Yeah, and whatever you do, he's got an answer for it in the transition. I'm seeing a lot of this tonight, like accepting half guard and reverse the half guard positions. Just to keep the foot on the floor, it stops the other guy standing up. This real interesting evolution we've seen in MMA, where it's gone away for a little bit from kind of traditional jiu-jitsu, where the focus is so much on passing. Stopping him getting that takedown to work. It might work now a little bit better. It's going to be hard off the cage. But Axel's coming back strong. This is the most trouble we've actually seen Will Haycox in his whole MMA career.
If you could call it, it's more of a, it's fairly even, but the knees are coming up the middle.
Yeah. Oh, look at that transition by Axel.
Very strong, very strong.
This is the first time I've ever seen Will Haycox being taken down. Oh, Axel's looking for the choke. What an upset it would be if Axel got a submission on Will Haycox. Wow.
That's the nature of the game, though.
He does a lot of feints. Haycox running forward, almost stumbling then. What a fantastic fight this has turned out to be. Oh, trick from Will Haycox. Oh, this is excellent work from Axel. He doesn't want to engage him on the floor, because you know that Will Haycock's got great submissions off his back. But he doesn't really want to let him stand up either and lose the advantage. So if he slams his
chop into those legs there.
And it's gonna score big in the judge's eyes. You know, that's damage, that's control. And it's a good 20 seconds of the round that he was winning. Axel's so composed. Oh, now Will's getting off. He does well when Axel's pressed up against the cage and can't use that elusive footwork.
Axel's got to circle off.
Oh! All over.
As I said before, I love seeing the evolution of fighters, and Will Haycox has become a complete fighter with that realization of that win against Axel Chapanda. But Axel Chapanda was no slouch, was he, Chris?
No, he was. His submission defense and takedown defense was so high level. We just assumed that Will Haycox can take everyone down and submit him, but not in this fight. Axel was making him work for everything, kept getting back to his feet, even briefly had Will Haycox's back, right? Will, the Naga champion, the grappling champion, a man that may have beaten you in a grappling tournament. Sorry, Steve, bringing up bad memories. But he had his back, and that's pretty impressive.
He did, and it was at the end of the second. We saw that maybe I thought for a second when I was commentating this fight, maybe Will Haycox is fading. Maybe he's had too easy of a run. He's come through everybody in the first round. He's been able to, as you said, take them down, bully them, take their backs, submit them. We saw earlier in one of our earlier shows that he was able just to transition from the back to the armbar to the TP choke in the triangle. It was brilliant and a really good breakdown that you did for that one, so make sure that you check out our earlier episodes. But he was able to pull it through in the third round. And I was really interested when I spoke to him after the fight that he was so coachable during the fight. Is that something that you look for in your fighters, Chris?
Oh, definitely. It's so much pressure being in the cage. You've got the crowd, you've got your adrenaline, you have the kind of inner voice in your head as well, and you're thinking about what you're doing. But your coach should be on the outside, and he should be giving you calm, good advice, right? And me and you also do some coaching, and I think one of the things that coaches need to take away is sometimes they don't need to talk. Often they would just shout at their fighter, right? And that can just add to the confusion of the situation. But he has a great team. He had Joe Silk Cummins in his corner giving him great advice, and Will Haycox was listening. And the thing that really impressed me by Will Haycox in that particular fight was his footwork. So people don't understand. Boxers do this really well. It's like fundamentals of boxing training. You control the middle of the boxing ring, right? So if the other guy comes forward, you've got space to go behind you. You can go to the sides. You've got room. A lot of MMA fighters, they kind of ignore the fact you're in this cage, right? Will Haycox doesn't. You'll see in that fight that he controls the middle, and when he loses the middle, he gets far away from Axel and then comes straight back to the middle. So he's always controlling the middle of the cage. It means that when Axel's coming onto him, he's got space to retreat, angle off. And when he's coming forward, he's taking Axel to the cage every time. And that's why Will was able to close the distance so effectively, and also why he landed that big left hook to get the knockout, because Axel went back, hit the cage, had nowhere to go, and then ate that left hook on the chin.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that ending moment because I was really excited to see Will Haycox get a finish, especially a KO finish like that. And I used to have a bit of a joke about Will Haycox, that he had a little bit of the snake hand. He always had this flapping lead jab hand, which almost is hypnotizing, and that was completely gone in this fight. He was laying that jab out very well. He was controlling, like you said, and then he backed him up into the cage, and he did something really brilliant that we see. He corralled Chapanda very well with the right kick and the right punch. So he went for the right straight, so Chapanda thought that he could dart out to the left, and that's when you see Will Haycox land that crushing left hook and send Chapanda right to the canvas. I definitely don't envy Axel in that case, and Will Haycox reigns victorious and takes the world title home.
It's one of those classic punches, is the punch that knocks you out is the one you don't see. It's like clearly he hadn't even reacted to it or go to block it. It just snuck over the top, just over his guard, hit him perfectly on the chin and put him out. And now, I know Will Haycox has got some other big fights coming up. No one's going to take this guy too lightly anymore because he can grapple, he can strike, and he can wrestle. He's got no weaknesses, and he's so composed. He's got real good mental strength. A lot of fighters, they need the angry walkout music to get pumped for it. Will Haycox comes out to Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles, right? With a little jaunt in his step, and that's his style, and then he stays composed in the ring. Now, if you enjoyed this show, please follow us on social media, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or come to a live Battle Arena event coming up in the future. It's been great having the show with all you guys, and great being here with you, Steve.
It's been great being with you too, Chris. Please follow us, check us out. We're going to be back to live shows in July, and please tune in next time.